Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, your Akhwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This is your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson. Fair use.
I hate to say this, but I really do believe that it's not too long from now before people start to really freak out about the cost of food.
A few days ago, I did a post about what I'm doing to try to reduce the cost in my home, and I asked people what they were doing, partly because I thought it would help us share ideas with one another. But the amount of comments on that post where people are saying, I feed my children and I don't eat, or I eat every third day, or I'm eating one meal a day, or the bare minimum food is a pretty common trend in that post. While we've been watching this situation going on in Gaza, it's happening closer to home too. There are many people here who are literally that food insecure. And I know the whole platform was, oh, there's so much abuse and SNAP and this and that. There are actually people not eating for days here. And I don't think that's getting enough attention. You know, most of us can't see outside of our own situation. We don't understand what it's like to be in that situation. You know, it's a bother to us to be proposed with people that are homeless. It's a bother to us to hear people complain that I'm hungry. But that post was pretty eye-opening to me. I mean, I know there's days when I don't eat a lot, but it's because I want to make things last. It's not because I don't have enough to get to the end of the month. The amount of people on that post that didn't have enough to get to the end of the month, or the ability to grow a garden, or the ability to have access to food, is pretty staggering. There's a lot of people saying, I feed my children and I don't feed myself. I've gotten to the point where I have to eat one meal a day only, or I have to go every other day. This is supposed to be a free, wonderful country, and there's people starving here. I don't care what their circumstance is. In a country this size, with as much money as this country has, people shouldn't be starving. This country has, people shouldn't be starving.
Here we are again, guys. All the stuff. Fresh veggies, fruit, pizza, eggs, drinks, chicken, snacks, canned goods, pull-ups even, fruit, salads, milk, eggs, juice, pie. So much good stuff. Central Kitsap Food Bank. Come visit them. They're so nice. Like, don't be ashamed to come feed your family.
There are people that are starting to notice that they're getting less food for the amount that they're willing to pay at the grocery store. Then you have people that already know that they can't afford what they used to be able to afford, and they're cutting back a lot. Then you have people that can't afford much at all and are going to food banks. This is a huge problem, and everyone is starting to feel the squeeze if they're not already. And we're at that point where it's like the frog in the pot that's boiling, that everybody's really realizing, hey, we're in trouble here.
It can't be just me who thinks they need to go get a second, third, or fourth job to just be able to afford groceries. I have to buy groceries every 2 weeks. No matter how much I try to cut back, it's still $500-600, and I'm drowning. It is so stressful.
Security is going to be a growing problem. The supply chain is already very fragile, and if you're just completely dependent on it, that's an issue. In your grocery store, there's no more than about 3 days worth of food on the shelves. What happens when everybody starts to freak out and buy up all that food if something happens with the supply chain? And even if the supply chain is fine, then the prices of all the foods and goods are going up so much because of the economy, because of the tariffs. I mean, there's a lot of different factors here at play. So, and they've been going up for time. It has not just been because of, the past few months that prices have been going up. Yes, they've gone up a lot more, but they've been going up for a while now, for quite a while.
Well, people are complaining that the prices in grocery stores have gone up, and our president is saying that prices went down. I'm a nerd, okay? Call me a nerd. I have receipts from June 2024 right through today. So we're going to go grocery shopping, and we're going to do some price comparison, and I'm going to show you how more expensive your groceries really are. I live in Howell, New Jersey, which is a suburban neighborhood. Not anything fancy. I'm at ShopRite. I'm not at Trader Joe's. I'm not at Whole Foods. I'm at ShopRite. We buy the same thing every single week, okay? Let's go shopping. Coffee is one of the biggest I've seen increases. Okay, now here on my receipt, we buy 8 o'clock coffee. I circled it because I used it one at a time. Sorry for the blurriness. $9.99. You see that? $9.99. See it now? $17.99. In less than a year. $17.99. $9.99. So it is doubled in price. Coffee is insane. And this is not even a fancy brand like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. Let's keep going. All right, I just met a lady here at the meat department who said, horrible. She can't believe the prices. Chopped meat, $17.90, $17.46 for 3 pounds of chopped meat. Are you out of your freaking mind? This little package of chopped meat, which is 93% lean, is $7 for that little piece. That can make 2 hamburgers. You're kidding me, right? Let's just take for shits and giggles, let's go over to a roast beef. $11 for $22. I'm speechless. Here's a beef around $19. Wowza. First of all, this ShopRite is a very, very, very busy ShopRite. Our shelves are not full. Because we are not buying American beef anymore. Do not buy American beef. This is absolutely wonderful. A London broil. They're on sale this week. Top London broils are on sale for $5.19. You used to get a London broil on sale and for like $2 on sale. It's $23. Oh my God. A London broil. Where's the ones that are on sale? They don't even have any on sale. They have these flat things. You want to do some beef kebabs with vegetables or some stir fry? Are you ready? $20.13 for that. You gotta be, who can live? Okay, we're not big cereal eaters, but a box of cereal, $6.29. Light cereal, $6.29. Raisin Bran, $6.49. I remember getting these for like $3 when I ate cereal. Holy moly. Okay, here you can see Schneider's thin pretzels, $3.99. My husband loves to have some pretzels, so we get some pretzels. They don't have out any of the thin pretzels, but you can see all of them. Schneider's pretzels are $4.79 now. $4.79. Almost $1 increase from 1 year from now. Okay, so Mr. Orange Man, when you tell me prices are down, you're out of your...
$426 billion.
Security is going to be a growing problem. The supply chain is already very fragile, and if you're just completely dependent on it, that's an issue. In your grocery store, there's no more than about 3 days worth of food on the shelves. What happens when everybody starts to freak out and buy up all that food if something happens with the supply chain? And even if the supply chain is fine, then the prices of all the foods and goods are going up so much because of the economy, because of the tariffs. I mean, there's a lot of different factors here at play. So, and they've been going up for time. It has not just been because of, the past few months that prices have been going up. Yes, they've gone up a lot more, but they've been going up for a while now, for quite a while.
Well, people are complaining that the prices in grocery stores have gone up, and our president is saying that prices went down. I'm a nerd, okay? Call me a nerd. I have receipts from June 2024 right through today. So we're going to go grocery shopping, and we're going to do some price comparison, and I'm going to show you how more expensive your groceries really are. I live in Howell, New Jersey, which is a suburban neighborhood. You're not anything fancy. I'm at ShopRite. I'm not at Trader Joe's. I'm not at Whole Foods. I'm at ShopRite. We buy the same thing every single week, okay? Let's go shopping. Coffee is one of the biggest I've seen increases. Okay, now here on my receipt, we buy 8 o'clock coffee. I circled it because I used it one of the times, started declaring this. $9.99. You see that? $9.99. See it now? $17.99. In less than a year. Less than a year. $17.99. $9.99. So it is doubled in price. Coffee is insane. And this is not even fancy brands like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. Let's keep going. All right, I just met a lady here at the meat department who said, horrible, horrible. She can't believe the prices. Chopped meat, $17.90, $17.46 for 3 pounds of chopped meat. Are you out of your freaking mind? This little package of chopped meat, which is 93% lean, is $7 for that little piece. That could make 2 hamburgers. You're kidding me, right? Let's just take for shits and giggles, let's go over to a roast beef. $11 for $22. I'm speechless. Here's a beef around $19. Wowza, wowza, wowza. First of all, this ShopRite is a very, very, very busy ShopRite. Our shelves are not full. Our shelves are not full because we are not buying American beef anymore. Do not buy American beef. Do not buy American beef. This is absolutely wonderful. A London broil. They're on sale this week. Top London broils are on sale for $5.19. You used to get a London broil on sale for like $2 on sale. It's $23. Oh my God. A London broil. Where's the ones that are on sale? They don't even have any on sale. They have these flat things. You want to do some beef kebabs with vegetables or some stir fry? Are you ready? $20.13 for that. You gotta be, who can live? Okay, we're not big cereal eaters, but a box of cereal, $6.29. Light cereal, $6.29. Raisin Bran, $6.49. I remember getting these for like $3 when I ate cereal. Holy moly. Okay, here you can see Schneider's thin pretzels, $3.99. My husband loves to have some pretzels, so we get some pretzels. They don't have out any of the thin pretzels, but you can see all of them. Schneider's pretzels are $4.79 now. $4.79. Almost $1 increase from 1 year from now. Okay, so Mr. Orange Man, when you tell me, Mr. Orange Man, when you tell me prices are down, you're out of your mind.
So you really have to think about the future here, because what we're able to get with $1 is less and less as time goes on with the way things are going up. I'll tell you, for us, we are going to start doubling down on our long-term food storage because prices are going to continue to go up. So you want to secure food right now at the prices that they're at. And same thing, in a month from now, you still want to secure food at that current price because it's only going to continue to go up. It's going to be a big issue here. So we're going to double down on.
Yeah, so this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 19. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, right? Famine, right, is going on. Look around you. Famine is already happening. These things are already occurring in life in around the world, right? Like the lady spoke about what's happening in Gaza. People are in famine, and even your average everyday American is going without food, right? So things ain't what they say, peachy keen. Things ain't all what it's cracked up to be, right? You know, the way, like the other lady said, Trump, you're saying the prices are going down, and that's not nowhere near occurring, right? The only things that went back down was the eggs, because eggs was astronomical at one point, and which was you know, that was self-induced, right? You never heard of an egg, a recall for eggs, but see, that in itself is a indication that you should behold, feast your eyes, look, pay attention, right? The plagues and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute, Yeah. So this is a just regular common dictionary, Oxford language. It says scourge, which scourges, plural. It says a whip used as an instrument of punishment, right? So the Lord is basically trying to whip your ass into shape by letting certain things occur within society, right? And see if you don't go, oh shit, look what happened to them. I don't want to die like that. I better get in line, right? You know what I mean? Right? Basically,
Affliction.
it's an affliction, right? Scourge is an affliction of a type, right? Flog, whip, beat, right? Beat you into submission, right? Yeah, so this is Amos chapter 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in a city, and the people not be afraid? Right? So the Lord sent forth the prophets to warn you of these things that were going to happen before it happened. We spoke about famine and how the grocery stores only have a certain amount of groceries, and it's only enough for a couple of days, right? And then once that's gone, and then, the supply chain is messed up. And then, of course, they're raising up the prices on gas. And if truck drivers can't afford either the gas or even the products, if no products are being shipped to the dock, which they're showing you that the docks have been pretty much empty, right? They're bringing in one ship at a time when they used to bring thousands and hundreds at one time filled with goods. So that's definitely like a scourge, a part of a whipping, a punishment, a beating. Where the Lord trying to get you to see, get you into to see that, hey, things ain't what it's all cracked up to be, right? And it says, but obviously you're not afraid. Should they not be afraid? And the answer is no. A lot of you Americans are not afraid. Shall there be evil in the city, right? And Donald J. Trump is well clean, showed you that he's full of evil and full of wickedness, right? This whole American Democrat Republican, you're starting to see that they're two feathers of the same bird. You're starting to see that both wings, whether it's the right wing or left wing, is part of the same wicked evil bird, filthy evil bird, which is that eagle, which goes back to Greece, Rome, Spain, and all these other different Edomite factions of Esau Edom, right? And Yahweh have not done it, right? And you don't think the Lord has allowed and created the circumstances for these things to occur, right? So suddenly Yahweh, the other one, power, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And that's what we've been doing. We've been revealing everything, telling you the end from the beginning. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Holy Bible, not our own opinions and not based on our emotions, right? Have a lion, the lion have roared, right? Which is Yahushai, and who will not be afraid? And who ain't going to be afraid of Yahushai, man? You're going to be afraid in that day, right? And if you see a regular lion is almost damn near the size of a car. You're going to be afraid you see a lion. But how much more the son of the power who's a lion, who's the Lion of Judah? You're going to be afraid. It says the Adawan power, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, have spoken, and who can but prophesy? Hey, man, even you regular, average, everyday Edomite, as you could see, they were basically prophesying. Hey, things are going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? You need to do this and this. And I can only see it getting. They're in a sense, they're not set up to be prophets, but at this point, they're prophesying. Things are not going to get better. This is an amendment, right? It says amendment definition. Yes, in Oxford language. Amendment. It says a minor change or adaptation designed to improve a text piece of a legislation, right? Which you can't add or take away from the scriptures, but what are you approving? You're improving the situation because the Lord has judgments that go out, like being a Mo, right? Being the like being a Mo, right? Which is that's a hard case. But according to the scriptures, if you change from your ways, that's a case that it's hard, but it's won. It's Yahushua has beaten the case, and really it's ultimately for the elect, but he's won that case, right? Which now they have to overthrow, sort of speak, that legislation. And now, does it change the scriptures and the judgment for those things? No, but it changes the judgment that was meant for you, right? Yeah, so like this is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9, says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the power of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. If you're unrighteous, how can you inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? It can't be done. Don't you know it's impossible for that to happen? It says, be not deceived, right? Because they have these, what do they call it? The Mo Bible, the Pink Bible. They have all these different things. They got pastors and bishops and fathers and all these stuff that's they're out the closet and still think that they can have their position, right? And they'll use the phrase of God is love, but God don't love those things, right? And this is New Testament, right? It's going to show you, right? It says neither fornicators, right? And that's an act of fornication, whether you understand it or not. Nor idolatry, which idolatry is an act of fornication too, when you're worshiping other gods. So, I mean, and some people, you're in worst case, you're doing them both. You're worshiping Cedre Bojer or Buddha or Allah, and you're a Mo, right? So you're doing very bad. You're not doing good at all. Nor adulterous, nor effeminate, right? See, that's that feminine trait in men that shouldn't be there. Nor abusers of themselves, right? With mankind, right? You're not trying to be, these flamos, right? Flamos, right? Flaming moles, right? So that's not what you're supposed to do. That you can't. If you're doing those things, you cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor revelers, right? Being drunk and fighting and all these different things. Extortion, right? You're extorting your congregation, or you're extorting people out of their money because you're the prince of Pan-Africanists. I mean, I just had to throw that in there. Shall inherit. Neither shall adulterers, neither shall extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the power of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You can't do these things and expect to inherit the kingdom of heaven. But such, right, here's the point, and such are some of you, right? So you've done these things, you had these abominable acts, these acts that you have done within your life, you regret, you regret these acts that you have committed in your life. And such were some of you, but ye are washed, right? So you came back to the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, right? And such were some of you, but ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, right? But ye are justified. And see that it's a hard case, and it's hard to make it through these things, and it's not an easy task. It's going to be difficult, but it has been done through Yahushai, right? You are justified in the name or Bahasham, out of one Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah HaKodash, of our power, the Most High, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah HaKodash, right? And these are the things that hey, it's there, man. It's done. It's finished. But you have to stay on the course of the race. You can't just think that all these things, these scourges, these things that's for amendment, right? Right? These things that you're supposed to change within yourself, and you don't change it, right? You have to change your behavior. And that's what these things are meant for you to change your behavior. Right? And that's just a small example of those that's gonna come back from and that's like the worst case scenario of it all, because there's heavy demons to come with that. So, and that shows you the victory in Yahushai, to have a heavy demon upon you like Moism, and the Lord still is saying, look, you win when you trust in me, shows you how much more a guy who's just, you're just an extortioner, or you're just a thief, and you're this and that, how much more the victory that you're going to have in Yahushai, man. Right? Go back here, because basically it means to what? Change. Let's see what this
Modification.
Right, there you go. It's a modification within your life. So you don't see all these things of how the Lord is basically causing judgment. Is there judgment in the city and the Lord has not done it? And then you don't look at this as as those scourges happen, and you don't look at this and go, I need some modifications in my life. I better correct what I'm doing before I end up, in a situation that I don't want to be. I want to be pleasing to the Lord, right? Yeah, so this back to 2nd Ezra 16, verse 20. And it says, but all these things, but for all these things, right? People dying, famines, earthquakes, they said there's a tornado that's it's not gonna hit. They said it's not gonna hit the American shores, but it's enough waves that's coming and pushing the people out of North Carolina and something like that, But these things happen, so people look at that thing like, oh, that happens every year. Oh, there's always tornadoes. Oh, it's not a big deal. You get complacent. You get that mundane spirit with everything. That happens. But not looking at it, these scourges are for your correction, for your modification, right? So you could change, right? But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, right? See, you're supposed to modify yourself, change, and become a righteous. Seek forth the kingdom of heaven, and all other things will be added unto you. Nor be always mindful of those scourges, of people being dropped and killed and maimed, and cities being destroyed, and fires burning a place like Hawaii, a luscious basically like a rainland. It's like a forest. It's always water. It's always there. How in the world did that burn? But hey, those things are for an amendment, showing you that the devil, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, hey, he's definitely rising up against the things, especially against you Israelites, but against humanity, against life. They hate life, bro. They do not like life, right? And he said for scourges, that's for an amendment, to grow you, to change you. To see you go, oh shit, I better change my life, right? Yeah, so I'm just going to keep going, because just 21 says, it's like Ezra 16 and 21. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, right? It says victuals, right, which means food, your substance, shall be so good, cheap upon earth, right? Which mostly is talking about Babylon. That's really the only place where you got to have these combo meals and these great big old different meals and these different dollar menus, in which they don't even really have a dollar menu anymore, but they do have some the $5 bundle boxes and bags, and like Wendy's got the bag and Taco Bell got the box, and a lot of people got, and it makes it cheap somewhat. Upon earth they shall think themselves to be in good case. And see, and like the lady was I don't know if I played that part, but she was saying a lot of people are not really speaking about it as much, but yet if you do like a little survey and ask people to be honest, a lot of people are going without. They said they feed their children and they won't eat. They won't eat until the second or maybe even the third day, because that's how far out they're missing the ability to eat. And that's even in this place where it's cheap when you get these bundle meals, right? And that's going on. So how much more in that day when the famine does hit? But at the end of the day, people still think themselves to be what? In good case. And even then shall evils, right? Bad time, evil meaning a bad time, grow upon the earth, sword, famine, right? Back at it again, and great confusion. See, and everybody's they're going to know what to do. You spent your whole life paying taxes and doing all these things and being a good citizen, so-called, and being a great, American, so to speak, waiting your turn to get your American dream. And hey, it's never gonna come. So with all that thinking you're in good case, ultimately that's what the pride, right? For because of the pride of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. See, America, Babylon the Great is about to be troubled, right? All this pride, thinking yourself is in good case. Ultimately, you're just going to be in trouble. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. Man, we're coming into hard times, right? It's going to be dangerous, man. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, right? And sword, the modern day sword is the gun or whatever thing that they have to achieve what is necessary for survival, to eat, right? For the victuals, right? That ain't going to be so good cheap on the earth. It's going to be a rarity, a scarcity, right? Right. So with swords, with the sword and spoil, right? Which means to take, to steal. Spoil means to take or steal their goods because of the lack of bread. See, their goods, right? The food, the provision. Because what? Of the lack of bread for great tribulations, right? And that's ultimately what's coming to America, right? Babylon the Great, which, and the whole world, the entire world. But this place is going to hit super, super hard. It's going, because people are used to eating. That's like that lady was saying, this great country, America, why should it be this way? Shouldn't be that hard with the money and the riches that America, but they're going to strip the riches in order to bring in the charagma, right? And allow that you have to lean upon the government, right? In order for them to cause as many as would worship the beast, to cause them to worship the beast. Yeah, so this is Deuteronomy 28:48. It says, therefore shall thus serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee. Right? And basically the charagma is like a form of servitude, right? Because you're basically worshiping the beast, right? So this is going to apply to everyone, right? It's not just going to be this being a precept that affects just the Israelites. This is going to be a precept that's just going to affect the whole world, right? Because all you are servitude under this devil, right? And that's how he's going to treat you, because there's no new thing under the sun, right? The devil don't have new tricks, right? He does the same thing over and over again because it works. And that's just how he does it, And in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness, and that's where you can go back to doing basically what he did in 70 AD, right? He caused a palisade to come around you, a karax, so to speak, but this is going to be a karax via technology, which is going to be in your hand or in your forehead, right? It's going to compass you about and force you into starvation, right? Which is that karax, that palisade, right? And there's going to be nowhere for you to run. So the only way for you to do is to come to him in nakedness and hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee, which is basically going to be the RFID micro CHIP, is a way to have you basically destroyed, because it through it changes your DNA, it changes who you are, And basically, it's the only way you will be able to buy and sell. The only way you could be a part of the grid because of your hunger, because of your starvation, right? Going to the devil for the one of all things, and he not knowing that he is the left hand of the Lord, because Satan, his father, Satan, works for the Most High. So therefore, by process of elimination, they work for the Most High. So all this breaking you down and making you and forcing you to come to them for the want of all things, showing you that this is the Most High. So I got the second Maccabees chapter 12, verse 13, and he went also about to make a bridge to a certain strong city. See, and that's America. America is a strong city, man, right? Which was fenced about with walls and inhabited by people of diverse countries. See, this the so-called great melting pot, right? America got all these different diverse countries of peoples and this and that. A strong city, right? And the name of it was Caspis, right? If I'm saying that right. It says, and that's this place right here, America. It's like a symbolization of that, right? There's nothing new under the sun. See, this is a place of great melting pot with all these different cultures and countries of people that's here, and it's supposed to be meant to be strong and lacking nothing, right? So it says, but they that were within it put such trust in the strength of the walls, right? See, and that's this place. Man, you put so much trust in this country that your president, your government, your whole thing is slapping you in the face, and nobody's doing a damn thing. They're showing you that, though it looked like they're just attacking the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, it's tearing the entire fabric away from the whole Constitution. So you, even as a so-called white person, your America is no more. See? But under white supremacy, or you think is going to be white supremacy, right? You're willing to sit back and allow them to tear apart this country that you love, that you're so proud in. But as you see, right, even right here, it says, in the strength of the walls and provision of victuals. See, and that's this place, man. It has great portions and provision of victuals, so much that they won't give the food away at the end of the day. They'll throw it away. You got thousands and thousands and thousands of restaurants that throws away thousands of dollars worth of food in the trash every day. They won't even give it to their workers, because at least you can give it to the workers, and then, because they're barely getting by, they'll be able to feed their families, and they'll be glad to come into work. Because at the end of the day, when everything is not, if there's anything left over, they could still feed their family at best, right? But they don't look at it and they'll throw it away, right? And this is pretty, right? They that behave themselves rudely, and that's this place, America, man. All you people are rude, man, right? You act like the world owes you something, right? When you're about to get, instead of you being rude, you're about to get a rude awakening towards them that were with Judas, right? See, and this is Judas Maccabeus, right, at this time, right? And it says, railing and blaspheming and uttering such words, right, which represents the elect. And that's how you treat us. We're warning you about what's going on and speaking, and you're railing and blaspheming and uttering such words as were not to be spoken, man. The things that you say to us, hey, you shouldn't be saying it. But hey, the Lord has a way to fix you. He got the self-proclaimed so-called white man. It says, wherefore Judas with his company called upon the great out of one, which is Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai of the world. See, and that's what we're going to do, man. In the time that this thing collapses, all these things, we're going to call on Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And a lot of you people, hey, you're going to be in trouble, right? Because it says, who without rams or engines of war did cast down Jericho. See, the Lord, he don't got to use any type of instrument to collapse America, right? He don't have to use, well, it says in the scriptures, he said he neither lifted up an instrument of war, nor sword, nor instrument of war, but only out of his lips went a blast of fire and sparks and tempests, man. Right? Which represent the chariots, the laser beams coming from the chariots. The Lord ain't got to do it, man. So that's what he's going to show you. He ain't got to do all these things. America is going to collapse and it's going to implode on itself. Right? Just like Jericho. Right? Cast down Jericho, the walls of Jericho, right? Cast down Jericho in the time of Joshua, which is Yahweh Shai, right? It should say Yahweh Shai. Right, which was Joshua, right, at the time, which was an Ephraimite, which is what they would call a so-called Puerto Rican today, right, which is the Northern Kingdom, right. So the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom, which is dealing with representing the elect, right, by saying Judas, which was a represent because Judas was a priest, right. Which is from the Southern Kingdom, and then Joshua was from the Northern Kingdom, representing the entire the elect, right? Gave a fierce assault against the wall, right, without even touching it. See, and that's the thing that's about to happen to this place, right? This great melting pot, right? This place with all sorts of countries and people, and you're trusting in this place. And it says, and took the city by the will of the power of the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and made unspeakable slaughter in so much that the lake 2 furlongs broad near was adjoining thereunto, being filled full, was seen running with blood, right? And that's what's about to happen, man. A lot of blood is about to be in the streets of America, right? And it says, then departed they from thence 750 furlongs and came to Caracas, right, into the Jews that are called Tubai, right, or Tobik, right. Yeah, so I basically the reason why I read that is because I had went in there, I just said Caracas in the Bible, and that's basically the verse that it gave me, right? Which what I read in Second Maccabees 12 and 17, right? And it basically gives you to the inhabitants by the Jews known as Tubaik, whatever, or also called the people of Tobik. The name Caracas itself can also refer to a palisade or rampart as seen in Luke 19:43, right, because that's it was a thing where they blocked them in and was able to slaughter them, right? And that's ultimately what Esau's going to do. He's making a a karax, right? A rampart, which is, it says where it is described, the for caution. Try to see if I can get it to fortifications, right? Which is basically like a fortress. Like we fortify something, you know, that would be built around Jerusalem, right? So let's go to that. Let's go to that Luke 19 and 30 or 43. Yeah, so this is Luke 19. I'm gonna start at 41. And it says, Yahushua wept over Jerusalem, right? It says, and when he came near, he beheld the city and wept over it, right? Yeah, he saw the city and wept over it, right? And where are people before a place? So the city is really talking about you Israelites, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? But at this time, it was just only the Southern Kingdom at that time, right, to qualify it, right? And there were maybe a few scattered Northern Kingdom that were there, but for the most part, it was just the Southern Kingdom at that time. Saying, would that you had known on this day the things that make for peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes, right? And then it says, KJV says, if thou hadst known, even thou at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace. Ooh. Right? This truth. You're supposed to know this truth. This thing belongs unto thy peace. And you're supposed to have these things. But a lot of you don't. Right? You don't take heed to the warning. And some of you are unable to. The Lord blocks you from getting it. Because you have gone that far. That, man. That's why we pray. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Man, this thing is heavy. Right? Dang, which belong, the things which belong unto thy peace. Wow. But now they are hidden from thy eyes. Right? Here's the point right here that it was making. It says, for the days, right, KJV, shall come upon thee in thy enemies shall cast a trench about thee, right? And this was dealing with 70 AD, right? Which I believe started in 65 AD, and then it carried on to the main part is 70 AD, right? Right, just to be direct to the point. Just 70 AD is a good answer when you talk about this right here. So it says 70 cast a trench about thee, which that's about to happen again, right? But not the way that they cast a trench in that time, right? Because it said that it was a fortress, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to look it up again, just because it's but capacity round and kept thee in on every side. See, with no way of escaping. For the days will come upon you when your enemies will set up a barricade. See, which is basically, you know what a barricade is, right? Basically, to block you in around you and surround you, right? And hem you in, right, on every side. See? And that was basically, like I said, 70 AD is a good just I believe it started before that, like 65 or something. But just if you wanted to say 70 AD, I mean, you're not really wrong. But it says, and shall lay thee even with the ground, right? And thy children within thee, and they shall not leave thee one stone upon another, right? Because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation, right? And they're kind of doing that now. A lot of people were saying that this the fires that was in Hawaii, allegedly, the fires in California, allegedly, these certain floods that's wiping out people's houses. It's to not leave one stone upon another. So therefore, they can come in, set up their 15-minute cities and this and that, and basically surround you, have you encompass roundabout, right? This time it's going to be digital, right? They're going to have a digital fortress about you, right? It says, and tear you down to the ground. Whew. Right, and that's what this military, that's what Trump is doing. The whole thing with Washington D.C. and all these other places, they're getting ready to tear you down to the ground. You and your children, right, within you, and they will not leave one stone upon another in you, because you did not know the time of your visitation. Yeah, you ain't. You don't understand the time period, but the warning has went out. But the Lord said that He's going to come like a thief in the night. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, because showing you how the Lord controls everything, right? He could tear down the walls of Jericho without any weapons, right? Which basically was set up as a charagma, right? A barricade, a fortress to keep the people in so they could be slaughtered, right? Which is the same thing that ended up happening in 70 AD. They barricaded them in, trenched them in, so they could make a slaughter against the Israelites, right? And then this thing is about to happen all over again. Here you are in another city filled with all different types of country and people, the great melting pot, which is America, and Trump is basically putting a trench about you, right? When he's putting up the military in California, which he's already basically did that over the riot thing, and they're still there, right? Then he went over to DC right after that and did that. Then there's other places, so he's already, in a sense, he's putting a trench around you, right? And that's physical. But he also gonna do one through a digital means, right? Which I'm going to show you right here. So it says, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, right? So I'm going to go to the ESV. Also it caused all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slaves, right? See? And that's ultimately what all you people are. You're just slaves, right? Right? And then, they have actual slaves. This whole Epstein thing, it's just the tip of the iceberg, because they actually still do, slavery, right? Whether if it's sexual or non-sexual, they have slaves, right? To be marked on their right hand or in their forehead, right? This is to trench you about. Now you have no way to go anywhere. Now you're digitally tagged. Now you have complete surveillance, right? They're surveillance you, Palantir, right? The Hapsir, what they're doing in Israel, which is basically the same thing, same company, same everything that they have, which is their gospel, right? That military, that gun is their gospel. This being able to put you in a police state, or they can surveillance you 100% of the time, is their gospel, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, right? So you're talking about all these prices and the food going up. Well, they're doing it to cast a trench about you. So there's going to be a particular time where all hell is going to break loose, this and that. But besides either the price that gets you, and you just give yourself over like everybody did during the CB19, trying to get some type of normality, right? Or you got to go through the calamities, and there's going to be so much death that's going around, and so much exhaustion. People talking about exhaustion. You haven't seen exhaustion yet. Wait till there's tons and tons of dead bodies on the streets, and let's see your fatigue then. And a lot of you're gonna run to the government, saying that's another way of casting a trench about you. You're gonna run. Oh yeah, please give me that. Yeah, I'll take it in my right hand, my forehead, my left hand, whatever you want to do, sir. So many people dying. I'm hungry. I'm starving. Hey, you're gonna be like a, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like like a woman. Yeah, you're gonna give it up, so to speak. So this is the ESV, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? That no man might buy or sell, KJV, save he, right? You're trying to save your own soul, trying to save your own ass. He that had the mark or the number of the beast, or the name of the beast selected, or the number of his name, right? Which goes into the barcode, right? Product code. And then, we're going to show you how he's casting this trench about you, this karox about you, this trench, right? And says no man shall buy or sell, right? So we're just going to go down here. So he had the mark, right? Which the mark meaning karagma, right?
Strong's G 5480. Charagma.
Yeah, a stamp or imprinted mark of the stamp on the foreheads or in the right hand as a badge of the followers of the antichrist, right? Which this whole system is many antichrists, but yeah, in a sense that's actually true, because it's saying once you get this mark, you're anti-Hamashiach. You're opposed to the kingdom of heaven being on earth. So yeah, I guess so. Yeah. You say no. I want to keep this world. I'm with what Esau is doing, right? Right. This is one of my favorite ones right here, where it talks about right here. It says the mark branded upon horses, right? And you back in the day, you take a iron, put it in a fire for some time, and then you put it on the back of a animal, a beast, horse, whatever, and you brand it, right? And that symbolizes that belongs to you. Well, today we're talking about the digital age, the digital time. So you don't need to put something in the fire and then brand you. No, you put the karagma, grapho, right? The RFID micro C hit, right, up in you, and now you're branded. Now you're the property of the international bankers, of the elite, right? Right, to show you that's what that's talking about, right? Because we just went into the trench, and what was trench? Karox. That word karox goes into it being a trench, right? So it says
Strong's G 5482. Charax.
Yeah. See, to sharpen to a point, right? And that's that a needle, right? The delivery system that they're gonna put the grain of rice up in you. This is a pale stake, palisade, a rampart, pale between which the earth and the stones, trees, and this is timbers are heaped, and packaged together, right? Which they talking about, you know, when you make it like a fence, and you have to you sharpen it in, you stake it down into thing, which basically that's what they use to make a trench. But they use actual big trees, huge trees, and went about it roundabout, which is right there. It is trench, right? But this time the trench is digital, right? A siege trench. This time this thing is digital because you're gonna go a little bit further, because this trench is also gonna have what?
Strong's G 1125. Grapho.
Grapho. So this charagma, right, which is a mark, a branding of ownership, right? Which the Karax, which is the delivery system, right? It's the needle, but in that needle, it's set up to be what? A trench about you. So once that is delivered to you or entrenched you, it's going to have what?
Strong's G 1125. Grapho,
right? To write or with reference to, from, of the letters, right? It's letters on a tablet, parchment paper, and other material. I like that a little bit, right? Because even when you're dealing with these little motherboards or whatever they have all this information on it. It's a material that made that, right? And let me see, where's a good one? Oh, it's right here, B, where it says well that's A2 to express in written characters, right? Different characters, letter, things that mean something, right? It's going to have the name of the beast, the number of the beast, right? What's on it, right? That's what you have to understand, right? And it says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, written down records, right? So what records are there? Your dental records, your medical records, your arrest records if you've ever been arrested, your records on your health, everything, your finance records, right? Because how are you going to buy and sell unless we know your records, unless we know what you're doing and what you're buying, and if you're even able to buy, right? Yeah, even like that. It says used of those things which stand written in the scarce book. Books. That one's dealing with the Old Testament, but yeah. Yeah, Griven. Yeah, Griven. Graphic. Yeah. So these things are going to have writings on it with information, right? It's going to have all your information on it. So this is how they're going to be able to buy and sell and basically entrench you to Karax, right? Right? With the micro C hip to entrench you. So once you got the micro C hip, you're entrenched. Now you can't go this place, you can't go there way, you can't go that way unless you buy and sell, unless you have the mark. Charagma, Karax, Grapho. So with all that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To your sisters, you Aquathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and the Bible ball, and Kwam Yasharala.